Hey, fight fans, this is RicRoc with Team Humble Hands. This is our fourth podcast. Super excited about today's guest. I want to thank everybody for supporting us and checking us out. I actually had the privilege to see this guest grow up, not only from the amateurs, from the Olympic system, but now from his 40th fight as a professional. Today's guest is Vanis, the Nightmare Martirosyan.
How you guys doing?
Thanks for being on, Vanis.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Well, I just want to just get into your upbringing and tell your story. You have an interesting story in boxing, and where did it all start for you?
I started in Glendale. I was a kid. I was always getting in trouble. So when my dad found out there was a boxing gym, he took me. I started when I was 7. I just worked my way through up all the way to the Olympics. Went to 2004 U.S. Olympics. Fought a lot of tough guys. So, my dream was to make it to the Olympics, and since I went to the gym, and that was the number one goal, and we did that, and now it's to win the world title in the pros.
Going back to the amateurs, I remember you as a kid racking up those amateur fights. When you decided that this is something that you wanted to do, because you were always athletic, even as a kid you were super athletic. But when you decided this is what you wanted to do, you became a citizen, correct? And I know in the amateur system sometimes if you're not in the citizen you don't always get those close wins.
Oh, of course. I mean, there's always favoritism in the amateurs. It's like that in the pros too. But hard work always beats. You just keep working hard, and you prove haters wrong all the time.
You've always had that ethic and working hard and getting your grind on. How long How long was it before you actually had your first fight? Just for the people that are in amateur programs and look up to you.
Well, I started when I was 7. They didn't let me fight for a couple of years. My first fight was 11 years old, and I remember I was like 69 pounds, and in Pasadena it was the weigh-ins at Villa Park, and there was nobody to fight, so I started crying. And my dad's like, it's okay. So my dad went and found some kid that was like 10 pounds heavier, 2 years older, and they put me in there. And that was my first amateur fight. And I beat the kid. He had like 7 fights. I had no fights. And so everybody was telling my dad, I'm going to be somebody. Because I was crying because there's nobody to fight. It was really weird.
I remember your dad would have you actually run to the gym when you were a kid. I think you guys were like in the upper Glendale area, maybe Montrose.
We lived in La Crescenta,
Yeah.
and my dad wasn't home, and I remember we're training in Glendale Youth Boxing Club, and then our officer, Ron Williams was the coach at the time with Joe Lopez, and they were sparring, and I couldn't make it, and Ron got mad at me like, oh, you better get your ass over here. And I remember I had a bicycle, man. I jumped on the bicycle and I started to ride like 10 miles all the way to the gym just for the sparring. I got off my bike and I sparred, got back on and went home, man.
I remember that gym at the time had a lot of professionals and a lot of amateurs. You had Ernie Savala. He had a pretty good career. He's now a coach at the Wild Card. We had veterans like Chino Garcia. We had Sergio Macias. We had Pep Riley coming in and out once in a while, and Karin Hartunian, William Adamian, William Bellion. We had a lot of professionals come and go, and you were like the youngest one. You were like the little guy
I remember, man.
out of Sahagian. We had
Yeah.
all this talent there, and you were the youngest one, and got to give credit when it's due. And Officer Williams once told me, Vanis, and I'm like, Vanis? I'm like, Vanis is just like the littlest guy here. He's like, no, Vanis is a phenom. He compared you to Kobe Bryant as being young and athletic, and credit when it's due. I don't know. He saw something in you that still was developing, but he definitely hit the nail on the head on that one.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I remember Officer, man, Ron Williams. He used to come to my school when I used to get in trouble. He used to come over there and get my report cards, and he told me if I don't get no good grades, I can't train no more, and that's how he got me on. I was a trouble kid. He helped me get on the right path, and he's right about that. My dad pushed me a lot, and the hard work. At the time, I didn't understand, but once I made it to the Olympics, I understood.
Yeah, you have those people that come across your life that actually do care and do want to make a difference and get you where you're at. Was there any fighters growing up that actually took you under their wing and kind of showed you the way, or?
I watched a lot of fighters growing up. Not I just know a lot of fighters. I knew I have a lot of connections as growing up as we fought. You got to meet new people, and more people got to see you. So as we got older and as the experience, we got to meet new fighters and got to know new ways and how to get to the next stop.
Definitely experience and not only life, but growing up and mastering your craft. Um, Going back to the amateurs, you started wanting to actually take it serious and be a part of the Olympics, and you had a rough road ahead of you. You had to go through some one of the best amateurs, not only in that time, but even now. They're all ranked. They've all had to be on the big stage. Just talk about your mentality and having to go through those obstacles.
When the Olympic year came, I was 16 years old and I was barely turning 17, so I was barely gonna make the age difference to make it to the Olympics. So we were planning on going to the 2008 Olympics. So that year, my dad told me to go have fun. It's the first year he actually, because you know how my dad was strict,
A lot
man.
of pressure,
No birthdays, nothing. I had to run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that year he told me to have fun, and I started having fun, and I started beating guys that it was crazy. I was having fun. I was beating all these guys, and then when I fought Timothy Bradley at the Western Trials, and when I dropped him in the first round, and then I had him out in the last round, and then that's when people started to know, like, oh shoot, I was just having fun, man. I wasn't even planning on going to the Olympics, but just having fun. I had to go through a lot. But then just to make it, I had to win like 13 or 14 fights in like 3 weeks just to make it to the trials.
When you first entered the trials, where were you ranked?
Well, beginning of the year, I was like ranked like maybe like 12th or something. I don't know what I was ranked. I didn't even know if I was ranked in the beginning.
Just knew you were there.
And then I remember when I fought Randall Mason. I fought this Hawaiian kid from Hawaii that fought Timothy Bradley. I think he beat him once, and I knocked him out. So as I was going, people started to recognize who I was. And then when I fought Timothy Bradley, when I beat him, I didn't know who Andre Berto was, and I was roommates with Vicente Escobedo.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a phone call to Vicente, and it was Berto, and he called, and he was calling from Florida. He's like, "Hey man, who's this kid?" Because he already made it to the trials. The winner of this tournament goes to the trials, and he's asking Vicente, "Who is it? Should I worry about him?" And then Vicente's like, "I would if I were you." And I went to the trials. I fought Rudy Cinceneros. I stopped him, and then my second fight was Berto. And then I fought Austin Trout. I beat Trout 3 times. I fought a lot of good guys, man.
The way that you actually made the Olympics was, I remember it was some sort of like disqualification where Berto had won you, but then in order for you to get on the team, you had to come back.
Let me explain that. In the trials is a double elimination, right? You lose twice, you're out of the trials.
Yeah.
That's the whole USA box. So I beat Rudy Cinceneros in one ring. There's like 2 rings, fights going on. So in the next ring, Berto's fighting Juan McPherson. And so I win my fight. The winner of this 2 are fighting those 2. So I stop my guy, and then Berto grabs McPherson, and he throws him to the floor or something. McPherson gets injured from his neck, so they disqualify Berto. The next day, Berto shows up like for the weigh-in, and they're like, "No, you're disqualified." And then McPherson's people filed a lawsuit against USA Boxing. It was a whole controversy going on. And then they put me against with Berto. The first time he beat me, the score was 19-20.
That's a point.
Everybody everybody knew I won. They were just playing favoritism.
Yeah.
And then that was only the first loss. But then I came back. I beat Trout, and then I fought Berto again in the finals.
That was in Tijuana.
And then that's where I beat him.
And that was a war.
Yeah, that was a war.
So that was your rivalry in the Olympics, sort of, and you guys laid it all on the line that day. I see.
When you make it to the trials, even if you make the U.S. Olympic team, you still have to qualify a spot in the Olympics. So you have to win the North and South America Championships. You have to get at least first or second place. So when we showed up there, I had to fight Mexico, first day Bahamas, Canada, and then finals was Berto, who's representing Haiti. So we fought all the way through. The brackets came out so weird that the only way we fight is in the finals. And we made it to the finals. We didn't have to fight each other. We could have just went straight to the Olympics. We were both first to second place. But I wanted to fight him, and I wanted to prove a point that, I belong here, and that's when I beat him, man.
So the stakes were high, and you had to bring your lunch pail and go to work.
I got first place, bro.
Yeah. Once you were at the Olympics and you actually made the Olympics, how was that whole experience of being there? How does it work when you get there? How's everything organized?
It's crazy. It's just like like you've been to Disneyland, right?
Yeah.
You see how it's like gated,
Yeah.
right? It's like when you go to the Olympics, that's like the village. All the Olympians basically are stuck in a place like that. It's gated, and we're all just together hanging out. At the cafeteria, it was a big cafeteria. And imagine, just like school,
Yeah.
there's tables.
Like a campus.
You're just looking, it's all like the top athletes in the world. And I remember I was walking, I bumped into Yao Ming.
Yeah.
Like, and they have like all these like buffets, and there's Chinese food and American food. They have all the countries, they have all their foods and stuff at the buffet. So I ran to Yao Ming, and I saw Tim Duncan, Stephon Marbury. They were cool, man. LeBron James was just fresh right now at that time. And then,
At that time,
Lamar Odom. I was cool with Lamar Odom. We're taking pictures together. It was the most amazing experience.
You were 17 at the time, right? You were one of
Yeah.
the youngest Olympians.
Yeah, 17 years old.
Still to this day, right? There haven't really been that many that young.
The youngest that year was 3 people. It was Rashid Warren was a couple of months younger than us. He was the youngest, and then it was Amir Khan, and it was me. Those are the 3 youngest that were in the Olympics at the time that I remember.
And at the time, how was like the sleeping quarters, or how was that assigned?
My roommate was Andre Ward. So
Wow.
he was like my bunkmate, and,
Yeah.
and so we were sleeping next to each other. And then the Olympic trials, it was Rock Allen, but once we got to the Olympics, they put me and Ward together. He was actually my sparring partner
Wow.
in camp and throughout the Olympic camp.
And how was Ward's demeanor was back then? I heard he was just focused and all about boxing.
Ward deserved the gold medal because the way he stayed focused in the Olympic Village. Everybody was out doing their own thing, but he was focused on the gold medal, man. Everybody was not as focused as he was. He deserved it.
Just worked hard, and he knew what he was there for.
He deserved it. See, like I was 17.
Yeah.
If I was his age, I probably would have taken more serious and got a medal too. But the guy that got a gold medal in my weight class lost to somebody that I beat before the Olympics. So it just shows how many politics there are, man.
Yeah, that fight going into, you were facing a Cuban with hundreds of amateur fights. He was like maybe in his 30s, right? And he had.
I was 31, I think. Lorenzo, Oregon.
Yeah, so this guy had a lot of experience on you, and
I still think I won the fight, though. I don't think
Yeah.
I lost the fight. A lot of people thought I won. When Teddy Atlas, the commentary, I'm hitting the Cuban, and his head snatches back, and he's like, "Nice shot from Martirosyan." He's like, "With no point, why are they keeping it a point?" You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So Olympic scoring is disgusting, bro.
there was a period in the fight where you caught him with a good punch. I think it was in the second round, and you didn't really jump on him. And I was like screaming at the top of my lungs because it looked like
the referee, I was fighting the referee and him because every time I would hit him, the referee would stop and tell me, "Don't slap him." They were telling me not to hit him. I'm like, I'm still hitting him. They wouldn't give me the points.
Did you feel a little bit of let's say, like, not I don't want to use the word hate, but did you feel a little bit like, towards the U.S. when you were like?
Well, the Olympics was in Greece,
Yeah.
and I'm Armenian, so the Greeks and the Armenians are like cousins.
Yeah.
Every time they said USA, we got booed. The walkout, the opening ceremony, they booed us. They booed us a lot. Besides the Americans, they were cheering for us, but we got booed. But as soon as they found out I was Armenian and the Greeks, they cheered for me. But we got booed all the time. That was a crazy year because the terrorist attacks.
Yeah.
They were afraid. They had people with machine guns in front of our village, in front of our doors. I had a CIA agent, an FBI agent with me at all times, wherever we were going in the village. As soon as I lost to the Cuban, right, I snuck out of the village, and I took a ship all the way to Mykonos. It was like a naked island with all these girls. I just went with my cousins because I lost. I didn't want to stay there, so I left, and the FBI was after me. I came back, and I got fined, man. They fined me like $3,000 because they were paying us every day over there. And I didn't get paid because I left the village.
So they actually do pay you for daily?
They pay us daily. They pay us monthly. They pay us for. I still have, like, I'm not kidding. I still have. If you make it to Olympics, it's the craziest. I got to speak with like all the celebrities, like Denzel Washington. Like it was, like they were Skyping me while I was in training camp. Like I'm in the Olympic Village, and they would Skype me.
Wow.
Hey, how you doing? We'll
Yeah.
get the gold medal. It was just weird. And
So
then
at 17, you couldn't really take it all in because it was a lot. It was like a dream come true.
it was a dream come true. And when I walked into the opening ceremony, I started crying.
Yeah.
It was crazy, man. I mean, and then after the Olympics, they picked like 38 athletes or something to go to the White House, and I was one of them. I got to meet Bush and the First Lady. I got pictures with the First Lady on like this with her. It's really cool.
That's a great experience. I know that Olympics actually featured a lot of boxers that are successful now. Triple G was in that Olympics.
Oh yeah. Triple G, Ward. It was Darrell, Amir Khan, Zhu Shaming from China. There was a Thailand fighter that's really good. I don't know his name. He got a gold medal. There was a lot of guys. The guy from Kazakhstan in my weight class that got a gold, but he turned pro. Yeah.
From finishing the Olympics to now making that transition to pros, how does it work? Like, how does it work? Do promoters come after you, give you an offer, kind of bid for you?
I met my first when I was at the trials when I fought Berto. I didn't know who anybody was. I was sitting at the lobby, and this white man just came up to me and gave me a driver license. And I look at it, it's Mike Tyson's driver license.
Wow.
He's like, you know who that is? And I'm like, yeah, that's fucking Mike Tyson. He's like, I'm his manager.
Yeah.
My name is Shelly Finkel. And last time I met Shelly Finkel, and he was interested in me. And I met Shelly Finkel. I walked out of my hotel room and I saw Lou Duva, not the Bella, Lou Duva. You know who Lou Duva is? He was at the time promoting Holyfield. He came out of the car and gave me his jacket and he kissed me. He's like, "You're my son." I was like, "What the what?"
Who are you?
Everybody was. It was just intense.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know much about a lot of people, but I got to know Shelly Finkel. I don't know who Shelly Finkel was until 17, and I turned pro with him.
And that you turned pro with that manager, but your promoter, you decided to go with Top Rank.
Well, my manager was Shelly Finkel. My promoter was Bob Arum, Top Rank.
Yeah.
For like 8 years, for 4 to 8 years, and now I'm with Al Heyman.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy.
Speaking about that time frame, I read somewhere that you actually got the opportunity to join the summer league for the Lakers. You were a good athlete and you weren't able to take it. But what kind of thoughts do you have about that opportunity that you could have had?
It's cool. I mean, I met Kobe Bryant at the gym when we trained at Wildcard. I met a couple of players like Lamar Odom in the Olympics. I seen him. Well, I used to hang out with Lamar Odom all the time before, over here in LA. So, it's cool, But I started to focus on my boxing. At the time, there was a coach, Stu, had a son that his stepson was boxing at the time, and he was one of the coaches for the Lakers in the summer league. So he invited me. He saw my work ethic, and he wanted me to go over there to train with the guys, and to shoot with them. I was actually pretty good too, but boxing was my dream.
I remember actually before your amateur fights, you and your opponent would be playing hoops outside the gyms. And you guys are about to go 3 hard rounds, and you're out there in a crowd.
I used to play basketball at the amateur shows, outside the parks. And my dad used to go, as long as you're up in 10 minutes, I used to run back in, put on my clothes, fight, and then go back outside and play basketball again.
You've had a successful campaign at light middleweight and 154, and that's been your weight basically your whole career. You went to the Olympics at 152. How comfortable are you at 154, and do you ever think about going up?
I like it. I spoke to Al a couple of weeks ago, and I told him I'll fight Chavez Jr. I'll fight Chavez Jr. at like 168 if they want me to go up, but I'm good at 154. I've been good at 54 for a long time. I can make 160 if they want me to, but I feel good at 54. They're actually talking about me going down to 47. I could if I wanted to, but I love 54 a lot, and I still want to get a world title here first before I go to 60.
With Canelo moving to 160 and Triple G at 160, 147, you got all those big names out there. 147 is kind of like the hotbed of boxing right now.
Well, Does that Canelo is? I don't know what he's doing moving up, or he's making his own weight classes now.
Yeah.
It happened, you know. Once you get up there, I guess you can say what you want to say. But 54, I think that you just focus on one weight class, 47 or 54. There's a lot of guys at 47, but if they decide to move up to 54, you know, we can fight all the time. But as far as going down to 47, there has to be, you know, somebody meaningful to go down to, you know.
You've never really shied away from calling out the big names. I remember you were in line to fight Canelo, where you fought for WBC. What was it, like an eliminator?
I fought Saul Romanda eliminator to fight
The
Canelo.
Staples.
I fought like 3 eliminators to fight Canelo. At the time when he was coming up, I was ranked #1 by the WBC for years, and he wouldn't fight me until I decided to go to the WBO, and I fought for the WBO title. Even now, they come out with a tournament that I have to fight like 3 fights just to get a title shot, and if I win the first fight, I have to fight the guy that I beat my last fight,
Which was
Ishe Smith, to get to the next fight. I mean, the last 5 guys that I fought were Lara, Willie Nelson, who was it? Jermel Charlo, Andrade, and
Yeah.
Ishe Smith.
Yeah.
I mean,
So all guys that are basically ranked.
2, 3 of them
Yeah.
are world champions right now.
Vanis, how frustrating is it knowing that, you know, some of these guys that you beat in the amateurs have at least gotten that shot? You know, Trout got it with Cotto, Bradley got it with Pacquiao, Berto got it with Mayweather.
I mean, it's that. I guess it's like not favoritism. I guess the fan base.
Yeah.
Trout was in good hands. He was with, you know, Heyman was watching him for years. Like Berto, when he turned pro, I was watching him for years. I was with Bob Arum, and Bob was good, but now that you know, I had people handling my negotiations and my talks. Look, I was with I've been Bob Arum for like 8 years, but I've been with Al for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And I can literally say what I've done here the last 8 years. I wasted so much time and so much money. It's crazy. Like, it's what I've done in this last 2 years is probably like times 100 times more, money wise and everything wise, from the last 8 years that I did with Bob Arum, and that's counting the signing bonus and everything that he gave me.
I've heard nothing but good things about Heyman. A lot of fighters seem to be really happy. What is the one thing that you're happiest being with?
He's a very humble man, and he cares about us. He listens to us. The day that I signed with him, you know, he told me, you know, I know you as a fighter. He knows like the fight game. He knows his fighters really well. He talked about he's mentioned the fight with me and Joe Green, that he became a fan of me when I fought Joe Green at the Yankee Stadium. And then what's crazy is that at the time I didn't know that he was sponsoring Joe Green, and Joe Green was undefeated.
Yeah,
He was like 23-0, and I beat Joe Green.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, why did Bob Arum want me to fight Joe Green at Yankee Stadium when Joe Green is from New York? I'm undefeated too. A lot of people were saying he was trying to cash you out, but when I signed with Mr. Heyman and he told me, remember when you fought Joe Green? At the time I was supporting Joe Green. And what's crazy is that was my last fight with Shelly Finkel, so I was thinking, were they trying to cash me out? It didn't work.
Yeah.
But Heyman became a big fan of me after that. But I was still with Top Rank. So when my contract ended with Top Rank, you know, I signed with Mr. Heyman, and he told me, you know, he's been a fan. He's just a great man, man. He listens. Like, he cares about the fighters, was what I'm saying. He doesn't care about anything else but the fighter, and that's why fighters are happy.
And currently, what are the talks that you might have something lined up for you, or are you in training camp, or?
I talked to Sylvia Brown, who assists Al Heyman 2 days ago, and the guys that they have me fighting next is Lara is gonna be one of the guys, and Jermel Charlo. It's either gonna be him or Lara. I think it's most likely leaning towards Lara, and it's a rematch with him, and I've been waiting for that for a long time.
Another thing is you've had several coaches where, you know, you get experience from all of them. Just talk about some of the experience you had. I know you started off your career with Freddie Roach. I talked to a couple fighters, talked to Latif Coyote the other day, and he told me that, you know.
I sparred with them.
Yeah.
I used to spar with Latif, yeah.
He told me you guys were all there around that time. He felt that maybe he wasn't getting as much attention as he wanted, but for you, what was your experience there at the Wild Card with Roach and Ariza?
It's great. Freddie's a great man. He's actually training my little brother. My little brother's 5-0, Valche Martirosyan. He's doing good. Freddie's a great man. It's just, you know, when you're coming up, you need the time, you know. a lot of fighters that Freddie has had, you know, they were already champions. So it's just like they come to Freddie, it's like, get me ready for a fight. You know, and Freddie gets them ready, and Freddie knows how to handicap. He's good at that. But as far as being with the fighter, like 24/7, building him, that wasn't there. So I had to, you know, I had to go my separate ways. But I work with a lot of trainers, and till this day, I'm friends with Freddie Roach. I train with Ronnie Shields. I'm friends with Ronnie Shields. I had lunch the other day with Joe Goosen. So I'm friends with all the trainers that I've ever worked with. So just in case, you know, I never burn bridges, but I have to worry about myself and do what's best for me.
There was some time when you were with Edmund also, right?
Edmund,
Glendale.
Edmund Tarverdin. He's a good coach also.
Uh,
Roman Colatarian, he's been my friend and helping me since I was 14. So he, you know, those guys. I don't forget where I came from. I'm friends with everybody. Everybody knows that.
when you were with Roach, you also were part of Ariza's training program. What he had for Pacquiao, correct?
Alex.
Yeah, Alex Ariza. Yeah. How was that experience, and what's your opinion on strength and conditioning coaches?
It's different. See, right now I'm with Victor Conti, the snack program, and it's totally different. Alex Ariza's program was totally different. I actually had a meeting with Memo Heredia too, and it's totally different. So I didn't go with that. I went with what's cool. Alex's training was honestly really good training. It's whatever people are saying is not true. It was all legit training. I can't say the same about Memo Heredia, but Alex was he was a clean guy.
I noticed. I remember, and there was a little bit of conflict between you and Heredia on Twitter not too long ago. You guys were kind of going back and forth. And what's just your opinion on some of the guys that are involved in boxing, like Ariza? You just mentioned Conte and Memo. All the PD scandals and the way boxing is trying to clean up now.
Is that Victor is totally different. He's clean, man. It's not. Victor's legit. Memo, I can't say. Alex is legit because I work with him and I've seen. I've never failed a drug test. I never. I'm open to anything, bro. So. I can't say much. I don't want to say too much, but Victor Conti 100% legit.
So you're definitely happy. You're feeling stronger.
Oh, it's on another level, man. It's training is totally different. Working with Remy Kuchemi, it's not like a person only. It's a program over there. Andre Ward is in that program. Amir Khan's in that program. Berto's in that program. Nanito Donaire. Remember when Donaire was knocking out Montiel like that? He was in that program. A lot of people came up to this program. All the best fighters right now are in this program. Right now, Amir Khan, that's getting ready for Canelo. He's gonna want to do this program also. It's a really good program.
How do you like training up there, training up north?
It's good because focus. My focus is more on the training, and you know what you're there for.
Vanis, is there something that the fans might not know about you? Something that you might be into? I know you're a family man.
No, man, I talk so much. They know everything about me.
Since you were young, I remember you calling out, Cotto. You've been calling out for Cotto for years. Sergio Martinez. You wanted everybody, and the fans may not understand that you're not just trying to talk or badmouth somebody, but you actually want to be in the ring and compete with these guys.
I mean, people don't know this. When Triple G came to America, I signed a contract to fight him, and he declined the contract. Yeah. People don't even know that too. I've been trying to get fights with all these guys. It's not about the talk. It's not about getting the fights. It's about politics and about the networks, and it's a lot of stuff going on behind tables that people don't know about it, and that's what's hurting the sport.
Vanis, we thank you for having you on. We look forward to following your career. Where can your fans check you out and keep track of you?
Instagram, Vanis Boxing, Twitter, Vanis Boxing, Facebook, Vanes Martirosyan.
Vanis, thanks again, and see you in the ring.
Thank you so much, man. Thanks a lot, man.